today we're here at the Wildwood Zoo for the Rotary Winter Wonderland. And thank you so much for having us down here today. Tell us your name and what role you serve here.
My name is Danielle Nystrom. I'm one of the project organizers.
And I'm Al Nystrom, proud father of Danielle, and also one of the organizers of the project.
Okay. Now, coming out here, there's a lot of lights and stuff like that. Let's get some history on there. How long has this been going on?
So our first year was 2006, so this is our 17th season here at Marshfield.
Okay. And how did this come about? I mean, one day you just don't say, I'm just going to go to the park and put up all these lights and hope people come. I mean, what's the story behind this?
Yeah, so the original idea really came out of the Cross. The Cross Rotary Clubs there had done a lights display for a few years before us, and a few of us had the idea that it would be cool to have a lights display here in Marshfield, so we went down and met with their leadership team, learned about what they're doing, came back and pitched it to Marshfield Rotary, and got a lot of support right away from not only Rotary but from the community at large. Everybody kind of rallied around the idea, and we had plenty of fundraising and plenty of volunteer support to launch the project back in 2006.
Sure. Now, taking a look at this, there's a lot of ornaments and a lot of displays and fixtures and lights and you name it. How long does it take from beginning to the end when it's all set up? How long does this take to prep to get all that? I mean, that looks like a lot of work.
Yeah, so there's a group of guys that work on this project year round, but with the volunteers, usually about the middle of October to the middle of November is how long it takes us to get everything from our storage units to the zoo and all set up and looking like it does now.
So you store all this in a storage building, so it's like the Santa's workshop once a year where you just pull all this out here. So
yeah, we have a lot of things in a storage unit out on the south side of town there, and then we also have a couple trailers full of displays that stay down here for the year.
Sure. So the guys that work on us, do they plan where they're going to stage things throughout the park and build things if necessary, or are people donating items?
Yeah, they are the masterminds behind what you see when you come in here. They do all the ordering. We have a distributor that we work with to get all the lights and the displays, and then they do their magic and create the different displays that you see as you walk through the zoo.
Yeah, the other important part of what they do is repair the stuff that needs to be fixed, and there is a lot of damage in an outdoor event over 17 years. You know, the squirrels like to chew on our cords and things like that, and light bulbs go out, so I got to give that group a lot of credit. They're in there on Monday nights in the summertime when the rest of us are outdoors. They're out there making things ready for the next season, so we're very grateful.
Yeah, I suppose one bulb goes out, they all go out. You got to do that with all of them, so that must take a lot of time and prep work to do all that. So with that there, how is this event helping those in the community and the surrounding areas? How does the Rotary help with helping the community out?
Yeah, so our mission has been to feed the hungry in the Marshfield area, and that's really expanded even to north central and western Wisconsin. We don't ever charge admission for to visit. We want this to be accessible to everyone, but we do ask people to make donations on non-perishable food items, and most do. And if they don't, they'll drop a couple dollars in the collection bucket, and those support a network of 30 food pantries within about a 50-mile radius of Marshfield. And so over the course of a season, we should drop 40 to 50,000 cans of food into these pantries, and of course we'll write some nice checks at the end of the season if we're able to have the financial support from our visitors to do so, and that's also been very helpful. So it's really been good. I think it's been a great really take a lot of pressure off of the pantries that serve those who need a little help, and in the process we generate, I think, a lot of community pride and enjoyment, and giving someone just a nice holiday tradition for a lot of families here in Marshfield.
Right. Now, talking about the food donations, I've spoke to other organizations that help kind of do the same things or donate other items like clothing and stuff like that, and there's a more need and awareness that more items traditionally have been request to be made more of. Is that, are you asking for more than you did last year? Of course, there's no such thing as not getting enough, but has that been ever an issue?
Yeah, we've seen obviously an increase in the need from the pantries over the last several years just due to the state of the world, and I think we saw the response of that as our community being even more generous, and that's of course always our goal, is to give more than the previous year and to collect more than the previous year. But I would say 2020 and 2021 have been very good to us. Our guests have been generous, and we could not ask for more of that, and I think we just want people to remember the reason we're doing this and our mission, and that there's a lot of people that need a lot of help this time of year especially. So if we can help sustain them through the next couple of months, that's what we're here for.
Right. And if somebody wanted to donate outside of the Winter Wonderland, a tongue twister there, can someone do so, like after the event is done? Can somebody do that?
Yeah, we can certainly be the bridge for businesses and people to understand the resources that are in the community to help people that need it. So while we're not directly collecting food and cash donations during that time, if there's a business that feels inclined, or just people that feel inclined to give, we can certainly connect them with the right resources in whichever community that they're in.
Right, and it's well needed for those that are really reaching out for that help and that need that in the community. Just last week I was out at a greenhouse there, and there was no snow on the ground, but now we have snow. So let's talk about the event here. When does it start? What are the hours, and when does it end? Just so then the folks know what those times and hours are.
So we start the day after Thanksgiving every year. So this year it's November 25th, and then we always run till on New Year's Eve. So December 31st is always our last night of operation. We're open 5 to 9 every night, weather permitting. We've canceled probably 7 times in 17 years.
Oh, no.
So we really try to keep it open and sustain it as long as we can, because it's a short season. So if there are weather cancellations, those are always blasted out to the media sources and then also on our Facebook page. So we are pretty adamant that we stay open unless it's really not safe for our volunteers.
So for those that haven't been out here before, is it walk, drive-through? How does that happen here?
Yeah, we designed this to have options for those that prefer to drive through or can't walk through. So there is a very nice drive out. A lot of people, that's busy all the time. But we also see a lot of folks enjoy the walk through. I think on a busy Saturday with warm weather, we'll see 3,000, 4,000 people come through on the sidewalks. And that really is the best way to see everything we've got. I mean, there are literally hundreds of displays that have been built, and they're pretty scattered, across a pretty good sized footprint. So both are available. They're both great options depending on your weather and your ability to walk through. But also when you walk through, you get access to some of the other special events that might be going on, and Danielle can talk about those.
Yeah, we have some musicians, local talent that have donated their time, so they come and present their musical talent within the gingerbread house here, which is what we're standing in now. We also have horse-drawn wagon rides on Saturdays, and then Santa's here most weekends and a couple other select dates. So all that information can be found on our Facebook and our website page, and it's always changing, so always check it before you come to see what's going on for that day or that weekend.
Sure, and if anybody wants to help volunteer their time, can they do so, and how do they contact you?
Absolutely. This project would not be possible without the thousands and thousands of hours of volunteers to make it work. So if they want to volunteer, if you want to volunteer, reach out to us through Facebook. Our email's on the website as well, but it's volunteerrww@gmail.com. We monitor that pretty closely, so within a couple days you'll hear back from somebody on ways you can get involved.
Sure. And not including this, there's other events. Would those be posted too, like on your Facebook there, if you have other events coming up besides the...
Yeah, we try to usually do like a weekly schedule so that we can at least give an estimate of what's going on for that week. Things pop up and people add things sporadically, but for the most part, Santa's here Thursday through Sunday, and then the horse-drawn wagon rides are always on Saturday, and then the music is kind of sporadic throughout the season. So
sure. Well, I'm a little too old to sit on Santa's lap at this moment, but I'll be down here to go through here. So, but I'd just like to thank you both for having me down here and talking about this and how it's benefiting the community and helping those in need. So. Again, I'd like to thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you for your coverage. We appreciate it.
So welcome back. Today we're here at the War Room Museum, and thanks for letting us come down here and getting a little bit about your place downtown here.
Yes. Hi, Tyler Smazel. Thank you for coming.
And so my first question is, I guess that you just didn't have one day, I'm going to buy a building and put all this artifacts in here. I mean, how did you come up with the idea, and how did you get started to have this in Marshfield?
Yeah, so funny thing is, in a way, that's kind of what did happen.
Oh.
A friend of mine owned the collection in Portage, Wisconsin. He started this about 42 years ago. Museum was down there for 14, 15 years. And then health issues started coming up in his life. We met, we worked together for a little while, and then he decided he wanted to move on from the museum while he could make that decision on his behalf and not, being forced to. So he started having conversations about selling. It actually was originally going to go to a collector. The original owner knew that the gentleman was going to keep some things and sell most, and that's just not what he wanted to happen with his life's work. So my family and I started having really pretty short conversations, because we knew if we're going to do something, it needed to happen quickly before the opportunity was gone. So we had conversations with the previous owner, made the purchase. Long story short, made the trek in the winter from Portage to my place south of town, moved everything in there for the time being until we found a space, and then started, the process of acquiring this space and moving it in and setting everything up, and the rest is history, so to speak.
Rest is history.
Yeah.
So I was here a couple months ago here when you had the ribbon cutting ceremony. Walking around through here, there's a lot of artifacts that, as long as I've been around, I haven't seen any of them in person, only in like textbooks. And you have a lot of these not artifacts, but history items, from World War II and forward. Give us a little description of what items you have here and some of the unique ones that you got a hold of.
Yeah, so I'd say, to me, the really unique thing that we're proud of here is we started really with World War I into Korea. Since we've been in Marshfield, we've now grown, which I expected to some extent. Now people in the surrounding areas feel like they have a place to go locally with their things or their family's belongings. So we've grown now into the Civil War. We've about doubled our World War I displays, which we only had about one display of World War I. Now we have two, almost three. World War II is still obviously our primary area, but we cover Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, hoping to get more present day, Middle East, Iraq, Afghanistan stuff. We have Holocaust, a pretty good display on Holocaust. We've gotten some really nice compliments from those that have visited the multi-million-dollar Holocaust-specific museums, and they're really pleased with our display. All original stuff, a lot more personable, in your face, hands-on. So that's really neat. And then we have what I kind of call the home front, or it would be more World War II era, but stuff that mom or the kids would have dealt with that stayed back home while the men were gone. So it really covers a big area, which is nice because it's not just war stuff. It's really anything from the time periods. So almost anybody can connect to something in here. It's not just guns and ammo, so to speak.
Right. And you were saying that family members, if they have items to donate, they can do that?
Yes. Yes, so we prefer, if a family wants to bring something in, that we do on the donation line of things, just because it's less messy in the future. But we will take things on loan. If it's going to be on loan, it needs to be picked up by the same person that left it, just because I don't want to go down the road of confirming who you are, and who you say you are, and, where you belong. So donation is the best way. Loan is an option. But we've had, again, Marshfield-specific families. We've had families from Merrill, Mosinee area, Rapids. really an hour radius, we've had people already bring their stuff down, which is really great to get those local items now.
Sure. And if anybody wanted to help contribute to the museum, what else can they offer to help?
Yeah, so obviously we're a museum, so funds aren't like a retail space. We operate off donations only. We don't require an entry fee, and we'd like to keep it that way. But obviously that means people that come here, then they need to contribute. Obviously, we feel that there's worth here, so we feel why wouldn't you? But we're not going to go on that road, I
Right.
guess. So we have donations, be it monetary from people walking in, leaving $5, $10, $15, $20, whatever they feel it's worth in our donation cans. We have museum apparel, T-shirts, hoodies, hats, can koozies, tumblers, you name it. We change up our designs on the apparel, especially the clothing, to keep things fresh and new. And we also do our business sponsorships, where area businesses pay a fee. They get a space on the back of our shirt. That's for the year. No matter how many rounds of T-shirts we print, they get that space continuously throughout the year. So that's been a real great turnout. Our initial round for this current year, we had 32 area businesses that got on board with like 2 weeks worth of notice. And now we're working on that round for next year. And then recently, actually, what we just started, which I think is really cool, we decided to do almost like think of it like a walking honor wall. So a family can now come in, pay the fee, donate the money, and now you'll get a space on the back of a shirt, to have your family member's name, John Smith, World War II, 1943 to 45, to pay homage to them, and obviously then to create revenue for the museum.
Sure. And you do have some events coming up later this year, correct?
Correct. So we just recently were at Hub City Days, obviously because we're right downtown. We have a 48 Plymouth that has some veteran connections that belongs to the museum, so we have that on display. We also take that car to some area car shows as well, like ARPA Nationals was just last Sunday, so we were out there doing the same thing with the car, raising money and awareness, for veterans and for the museum. And then also coming up, we'll be at the fair, working on conversations there, but we're for sure going to be there at least one day, but it sounds like we're going to be there all 5 days. I think it's 5 days, or for the week.
Sure.
So that'll be pretty neat and exciting for us. We'll have a booth set up and displays for the kids and educational stuff, and kind of have some interactive stuff as well. So I think that'll be a neat experience.
Right. Yeah, and we'll probably be down here to talk about that later on within the
Awesome.
coming up time here, so we can get that on the Marshfield Now program. So, well, I'd like to thank you for having us come down here for the War Room Museum there, and thank you so much for putting this on and having this in the community. It's really neat to see all this.
Awesome. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you again.
All right.